VLC Network here with another unboxing, this time coming from the company Beelink. And this is another one of their mini PCs right here. This is actually one of their upgrades to their U55 model. This is the U57 Windows 10 4K mini PC. So, mini PC. With Windows 10, it's an Intel Core i5-5257U processor. Burst speeds up to 3.1 gigahertz, which is pretty nice for a little miniature PC. Low budget. Not so low budget, it's kind of like the next step up from low budget. But you have 8 gigabytes of memory in here. It's DDR3L RAM, and it's expandable up to 16, so you can expand on this model. And you have a 256 gigabyte SSD hard drive in here. It's a Serial ATA, I'm guessing. They don't really mention that. They just say 256 gigs SSD hard drive inside, M.2 format. Expandable, of course, but they don't really tell you which is it? Is it Serial ATA or is it NVMe? So we're guessing based on the price points, probably Serial ATA, like most of these models are. It may or may not have an expandable port. I don't think so. No, I don't think we know the answer to that one. So if the drive itself isn't NVMe, then you're just stuck with Serial ATA across the board. It does, I believe, have an expandable slot, or at least a ribbon, capable of expanding to a Serial ATA non-SSD or SSD, but a 2.5-inch format drive, so your normal laptop drive or SSD Serial ATA rectangular 2.5-inch drive. So you might be able to double up on your hard drive in here, which is good because, you know, if you need to expand some space and keep your footprint small, a Serial ATA SSD will do the job quite fine because it's going to offer you plenty of space for a decent price as well as low temperatures, unlike NVMe. The price weighs in at about $369.90. So you're looking at $370 for this mini PC here. And the price is pretty, I mean, it's a little bit higher than their other model that we had covered. At the same time, it's not too bad. For a mini PC, $370 can get you a pretty good mini PC. So what it comes down to is this one of those. And we can break down the prices, everything. I mean, the RAM, 8 gigabytes of DDR3L RAM is gonna run you about $30 to $40. The processor, the entry MSRP was about $315, which don't let that excite you because, for one, it's been out for a little while, and they're going to get a discount because, you know, they're buying in bulk. So the price is going to have a little question mark on it for the processor. So we're just going to say less than $300 for the processor, probably closer to 100. I'm guessing maybe 150 at most. And so you got that. You got $30 to $40 for the RAM. The drive inside, assuming it's a Serial ATA, it's going to be about $40 to $50 for 256 gig SSD, Serial ATA SSD. And then you have the board and everything else that's in there. So you're looking at probably $250 plus, maybe, I'm guessing, cost to build this thing, and you're paying $370. So that's going to factor in the cost that, or at least whatever they're going to be making out of this to make a profit off of their own product, as well as anything that Amazon is getting. So it's still a big question mark. It's hard to say, give or take 50 bucks. Is it worth it? I'd say yes, probably, especially because it's expandable, but there's other things we need to take a look at as well in terms of what does it look like inside, how, you know, what's the quality of build and everything else. But so far, things are looking pretty good. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna open this up and we're gonna see what everything is, or what it comes with inside. And then we'll take a little bit further of a little deeper of look as well to see what we think about this, and then we'll shoot you a link to our review. I think the review is just going to be on Amazon this time around. Yep, we're going to have a link to Amazon for the products. You can figure out where it's at, and you'll see our review in there and what we felt about this PC in full, complete detail. So first, let's take a look at the accessories you get. Now, usually you don't really get much. It's just, it kind of gets you started, but in this case, it looks like we have a little bit more than that. This is good. We have an HDMI cable here, so you can connect it to your TV with, or monitor. We have a AC adapter to plug into the back of it and then to your wall. And then we have another HDMI cable, which is quite common. You have your long one, you have your short one. So that way, if you want to hide this behind your TV and just mount it back there, you don't need a long HDMI cord running all over the place. You can just use a little shorty here and get the job done just fine. And then if you need to run this away from your TV and set it, you know, on top of your entertainment center or a desk or something else, or on a shelf, you can use the longer HDMI to accomplish that. Now, what this bag is here, which is a pretty cool perk is this is your serial ATA connection for both power and data for a serial ATA 2.5-inch hard drive. Now, we've played with a lot of these mini PCs, and some of them do offer expansion to 2.5-inch drives. The issue with that is they don't usually include this, which is annoying because there's different types of ribbons that you can buy online, and they don't really give you direct details on where to find them or the specific type of ribbon or anything. So if you're not really a tech savvy user and you pop this thing open, you look at, all I need is a ribbon. Apparently you go online, go to eBay, go to Amazon, you find a ribbon, you buy it. It may or may not fit. It could be one that's meant for a Dell laptop and nothing else. Or it's just simply a different size because, you have options. So this is cool. It actually comes with the ribbon for data and power here, so you don't have to have any guesswork in there. You just insert the ribbon, insert your drive, and you're expanded. That is a big plus right there. So that earns Beelink some brownie points there, which leads to a more satisfying nod towards the might be worth it. But let's go further. We have some instructionals here and some more accessories. You have your installation guide, you have your user manual, so it tells you how to use this. You have your, just a little plate thing that you install into the back of it here, so that way you can screw it into the VESA mount that's on the back of the TV. So that way if the TV's not hanging on a wall, if it's sitting on the entertainment center, you should be able to just mount it to the back of the VESA holes that aren't being used in the back, and that'll give you a nice secure mount. And then of course you have your screws to accomplish that with. That's it. I want to say it's really simple, but it's not, because this is awesome. It's so simple. In itself, this is a very simple accessory to include. It doesn't really cost them a lot of money at all to put this in there. So really it's all about just that extra level effort that they're giving you. Looking at the mini PC itself, we'll start with the front of it here. We have two USB 3.0 ports here and a USB Type-C. So that's going to be for connecting accessories, external drives, or anything else. You want to charge your phone off the USB-C port, whatever works, you hook it into there. Now USB-C is going to be your best, and then USB 3 is going to be your second best option. So for anything that's going to require a lot of bandwidth, so external hard drives and things like that, that's what you're going to want to reserve these for. For everything else like keyboards, mice, and stuff like that, you might want to use the ones on the back because those are USB 2.0, so you want to sacrifice those to the less hungry devices. And then you have a headset jack here, which is going to be both headphones and mics, so that way you can use a gaming headset or just headphones or just a mic. And then you have your power button, which, turns it on. On the right side, if you're looking directly at it here, it's just a vent for air to be able to flow. And then on the other side, the left side, if you're looking at the front here, you have a little hidden, it's not really hidden, it's right there, but you may not know what it is unless you looked at the instructions, or you just simply knew, because a lot of these have it, but it's a micro SD slot, so that way you can stick an SD card in there from your phone or other mobile device and upload some pictures or something on here. So if this is kind of like your editing little miniature station for basic photo editing or storing, then that's where you're going to get the information on there. We wouldn't advise using this for expandable memory, for storing stuff on this with, because SD is going to be massively slow compared to SSD on the inside or an external USB 3.0 hard drive or USB-C connection. These other options are going to give you a wonderful transfer rate, where the micro SD connections, not really. That's just for temporary transfers of files back and forth between cards of other devices, just to have the option. And then on the back, you have, what's really nice here on the top section here is you have some additional ventilation here for air to be able to get out or in. You have your AC adapter here, or your connection for the adapter at least. You have two HDMI ports, because this will do dual monitors up to 4K. And then you have those two USB 2.0 ports I was referring to, as well as an Ethernet connection. So you're going to have a gigabit Ethernet connection for going wire to your network with, which is preferred because it's going to be a lot more reliable than using Wi-Fi. So beyond that, the weight of it is pretty nice. It's not too heavy. They got the little print here, the Intel inside. Core i5, unlike what they did on the box, which was actually what I noticed earlier, which is kind of interesting. Apparently they have a lot of these extra boxes floating around, but it still says the Core i3, they just slap a sticker over it that says i5. I'm like, okay, it's i5 now, which is really great, except for the back of the box, it still says i3. So that might be a little, not deceiving, but it might be confusing, because you might get this, look at this and be like, wait, that wasn't the model I ordered, what the heck? Then you look at this and you go, oh, I see what they're doing here. But it's really light in weight. It's mostly plastic. It's nothing to be excited about in terms of the case. It's It's a really simple case, but again, it's super light, which is really cool. And looking at the ventilation on the back here, we see some metal fins in there. Usually these models will have a little small fan on the top section. The bottom section is what you have access to, and this is why serial ATA SSDs operate better than NVMe, because NVMe can get really, really hot. And in a small little space like this, if they don't have a fan on that side, yeah, that can be bad. We were testing out a BMAX unit not too long ago, and we put an NVMe drive in there. Now, by itself, without the NVMe, it operated great. Sticking an NVMe in there, and we were getting suddenly temperatures of up to like 145 degrees Fahrenheit from the hard drive in there, and our software that we use to monitor things like that was just blaring with alarm going, hey, you know, you might want to cool down that drive a little bit. If you ever do find yourself worried about temperature, you can always stick a little external fan on one side and blow air through, so coming in one side and going out the other side here, because I mean it's a perfect entry and exit space right there, and it results in some amazing drops in temperature. But out of the box, you shouldn't have that issue. And if it doesn't have an NVMe slot, you won't have the issue to begin with. Shouldn't. But the biggest question, of course, is what does that slot look like? Does it offer NVMe? Again, we're leaning towards no. It's probably all serial ATA in here, but there's only one way to find out. We're going to open this up and see what it looks like. Now, to be able to do that, you need a screwdriver, and there's 4 feet on the bottom, and each feet, you can see in the middle of the foot, there's a Phillips screw. So just remove those 4 screws, and the bottoms should just fall right off. So we have all 4 screws removed, didn't take any effort at all, and of course, like I mentioned, bottom comes completely off. Just no issues whatsoever. Inside, this is what it looks like. Everything looks very nice and neat and well manufactured, so that is also a plus. And if you look at the SSD here, or at least the M.2 connection, it does say serial ATA bus. So that means everything on this is absolutely, beyond a reasonable doubt, serial ATA, which is fine. It's not like you're a power user trying to build a super system out of this thing. I mean, this is just a mini PC. You can only go so far with these. I mean, given it has a really good processor in this, and you can expand the memory up to 16 gigs, which is really good, and you might want to do that if you plan on using this for gaming or anything like that. Minor gaming, don't get too excited, because you're not going to go head-to-head with some of the best consoles out there with this or anything like that. This isn't a RTX 3080 video card that's in here or anything like that. I mean, this is just gonna be basic gaming, but I mean, the idea is 4K content and things like that. It will, if you're gonna multitask and do other things with this, you might wanna upgrade the memory to 16 gigs because Windows 10 loves 16 gigs as a starting point if you wanna multitask. For the memory, it's just a single slot here. So you just, pop these 2 arms to the side, memory module comes right out, just a single slot. So if you want to upgrade this, you're going to get another DDR3 memory chip that's 16 gigs. Follow the instructions to show what kind of memory modules, the speeds that it supports, to make sure you match it with the appropriate module. And then you just stick a singular 16 gigabyte card in there, or stick, and just push it down, slaps into place, and you've upgraded your memory. Easy. Same thing with the hard drive, only there's a screw, so you just undo that screw, it lifts up a little bit, slides out, put in a new hard drive, push it down, screw it in. Now, before you do that, of course, you want to use some kind of cloning device, maybe an external device, or use software and just hook it up with a USB converter, some adapter or something on the outside, and then clone this to that drive, then disconnect it, take this out, put the new one in, put everything back together, boot it up, and you should be good to go. So if you want to upgrade to a terabyte or anything like that, it should be relatively easy. The adapter to take one of these drives and turn it into an external drive should run you like 20, 30 bucks. They're not that bad. We've covered many of them in the past, and they work really well. And they're good to have on hand, especially since you're going to need something to do with this drive now, so you might as well turn it into an external hard drive. But you do have different things in here that you need to focus on, like your input for the ribbon here to upgrade the drive width, or to add a secondary drive in here if you want to stick a serial ATA 2.5-inch drive in here. And if you do, just make sure the drive's laying there nice and neat. Make sure that you don't have any metal touching metal or anything like that. Most of those 2.5-inch drives, they're almost all plastic, so you shouldn't have that issue. But just in case, maybe they have a foil sticker or something on there. Just be mindful for things like this. You don't want to have metal touching anything in here. But beyond that, it should be relatively really easy to do, as long as you pay attention to the instructions and make sure you understand how those ribbons go in there, because these ribbons are really thin and really tiny, and they do damage easily, so be very careful with them. But beyond that, it looks nice. The build quality is really nice, just like the other unit that we had tested in the past, the U57. The quality of materials is a plus. The fact that they give you this is a plus. You have an SSD in there. You can upgrade the memory up to 16 gigs. Again, we recommend it. It's not that expensive. You can wait a while, and when you feel like you need it, then jump on it. So again, this is the Beelink U57 Windows 10 4K mini PC. It looks like a great little mini PC. If you look at the hardware that comes with it, it's pretty good. So give or take, I'd still say 50 bucks. I'd say this is a good deal. It's a good computer, especially if you upgrade the memory later on. So again, we'll have a link in the description where you'll be able to see our review. It's going to be on Amazon. You'll be able to see what we said about this, as well as a link to the product itself. So do we give it a thumbs up? Yeah, I'd say we'd give it a good 8 out of 10. It's a good little mini PC. So go check it out in the description. And we thank you for watching. If you have any questions or anything like that, definitely feel free to use the comment section below. Or if you just have some comments, some suggestions, you just feel like talking about your dog, use the comment section below and let us and the whole world know about it. And as always, we'll catch you next time, and we thank you for watching. If you want to stay on top of all the latest and greatest, or at least the gadgets we cover, remember to subscribe right here. Subscription button. Click it. You're going to want to. There's lots of videos, interviews, previews, all sorts of stuff. Button. Click it.